One of men's biggest fears is being stuck in a sexless relationship that just feels stale. And in my own life, I have had plenty of challenges with dating. I was a lonely virgin till I was 22 years old. I've had performance anxiety issues with new girls for the first time. And I've been rejected by girls that I really liked. But once I get into a relationship, I've never had any issues with regular sex, even to such a point that relationships that I've had that have ended, we've then kept on sleeping together. And I'm a good time, but I am no savant in bed. So clearly, I'm doing something differently. And I spoke to my friends, my clients. I've started to distill it down to this fundamental aspect, that when I'm in a relationship with a girl, I never allow her to feel confused to what her primary role is in the relationship. And by that I mean, she is always my girlfriend first, and a friend, a confidant, and everything else after. We have that primary role in mind of who we are to each other. And you might think that this is obvious, but just because we have the title doesn't make it that we always remember this. So a leader, for example, isn't a leader because he has the title. He's a leader because of how he acts. And in a similar way, when we first get into a relationship, we're acting like a couple. We're going on dates. We're having intimate times together. But what happens? For most people, their friendship circles, they start to merge, they hang out together, and they start doing quite friendly pally things. Their hobbies start to merge, their music tastes, everything about this couple starts to merge, and they went from the only actions they did being very coupley datey actions to being kind of friendship based. So for a girl especially, this can get really confusing of who she is to you. Like, is she a friend or is she a girlfriend? And this causes so many problems because this isn't just about sex. This is relationship satisfaction as a whole starts to tank once these roles get blurred and sort of muddy. Divorce rates go up 25% for couples that don't do date night. Because what does date night do? It reinforces those old roles that you used to play. And this is happening time and time again for people, that they get the relationship, it's going well, but they start to slack off because it's easy to do that. It's easier to be lazy, to not engage and do the hard work, to hold the line and not do things that are just way too friendly, pally. She wants to go to the rom-com and you just decide to go with her when you don't want to. Well, that's the thing she does with her friends, and all you're doing is fulfilling that role. The way that I see it is a sexless relationship is just a guy that got friend-zoned after he got the relationship. And I started to distill what are the things that I do. And they're just weird, funky little tips, but I'm going to offer them out because I think it's valuable to people to avoid this trap that often leads to a lot of misery and a lot of breakups for couples that could have been great together, but they just took their eye off the ball and started to see each other not as, damn, that's my guy, that's my girl, that's that left. And it just became, oh, that's the person that I'm friends with, that I do pally things with. So, first and foremost, I will just constantly make intimate physical gestures. So if I'm walking past her in the kitchen, I just grab her waist, just by sheer default. And what I'm doing is reinforcing that I'm crossing that physical touch barrier, because friends don't really do that. Friends, the main difference, if you think, what is the difference between someone you're friends with and someone that you're in a relationship with? It's the closeness of intimacy. You can often do a lot of the same activities, but it's the physical touch, it's the closeness, the really, really intimate actions are what define that person as being at another level, that they aren't just Tom, Fred and Harry. Like, it's this is this is why it's wrong. let's go with let's go with that Hermione jokes. So I'm constantly doing that of just reinforcing. I'm playing with her that when we're sat down, we might be watching something or at a bar. I'll just grab her wrists so she can't move them, and then I'll just mess with her with my other hand. And it's what you'll notice is a lot of this is like an undertone of just playfulness, and we lose that playfulness and we just become stale. And there's a reason for this. Intimacy takes bravery, because you can get rebuffed, you can get rejected when you do this, and people hate that. They hate trying to sort of reach out for connection with someone, which is what a bid for intimacy is. It's a bid for connection, and to then get rejected, because then they don't want to do it again. They don't want to potentially have their heart put on the line and it get rejected. But it's exactly what you need to do if you want to keep that heat. I'm sure there will have been a time when I've gone in for that connection bid and she just wasn't in the headspace for it. Very rare, but it does happen. And that's constant reaffirming of who we are as a couple and who we are to each other, because you're going to play 100 different roles together over your time. You're going to be chef and sous chef. Like, you're going to be financial advisor and not, and you're going to be parents together. But unless you protect this one relationship, this role that you have to each other, and doing that through date nights is a huge way to do that, because they just remind you of the roles that you once had. Like, nobody's perfect. It's the sacrifice you make to put in the effort to be able to organise date nights is what protects that role, and it pays off so much. It pays off so much, because just texting her doesn't do it. She does that with her friends. Flirty texting, however, does help. One of the girls that I'm dating recently, I was tired, so I was like, I'm going to sleep, and she just sent me something like, sweet dreams, I hope you like dream of me. So I was like, fuck it, let's be playful. I just put, you likely, your clothes less likely. And it's just little bits like this that help keep the spice in a relationship, that you aren't just friends. It isn't just platonic. There is something special and unique about the relationship you have together, rather than the one that she has with everyone else. I think the guy should take a primary responsibility as well with maintaining this, because a girl's lived a whole life with having guys that are interested in her, that she's friends with. It's quite easy for her to just default that person to being a friend. So if a guy leads the way and is constantly making it clear of what she means to me, of this, I have you around because I love the intimacy that we have. Yeah, I like that you enjoy the same music as me and you go to watch films with me. But it's the intimacy side, that's really valuable, and that's what's key, and that's what makes us feel alive when we have those relationships. So doing that, I'd say eye contact as well. Eye contact is super valuable, because how many times do you make strong eye contact with anyone anymore? Rarely. So if there's that one person where you can hold eye contact, you can smile, and you can have that moment together, it separates you out. Don't fall into this trap that you remove the intimacy, you stop pushing past the barriers of normal conduct, and you just keep being that guy that is forward and intimate and playful. And I guarantee you'll never lose the sort of spiciness from your relationship. I did this for 2.5 years with a girl, and we were better by 2.5 years than we were when we started, because we just kept doing this on repeat, and we just never lost focus of who we were to each other. We never saw each other as anything other than, I was like, that girl, she's my girlfriend. And that was so key. And I do get, this is vulnerable. It is vulnerable. And one of the things that can stop a guy being vulnerable is one particular emotion. And it will stop you, and it will ruin your relationship, and it will make you sexless. And I detailed it down in one of my favourite videos I've ever done. And it's this one right here. And it's the deadliest emotion for men. And if you can't overcome this one, then you will never be able to have that required intimacy you need to have a relationship that never becomes sexless.